What's up, everybody? This is Marshall Lee Couture, making the transition to Marshall Lee of Donkey Jaw Projects. And today I'm going to be doing some figure studies, just practicing and filling the old sketchbook, trying to get the camera to kind of be in a good position for y'alls. I'm outside hanging at the family's, and it's morning, and I guess there's a lawnmower nearby, which figures. So we'll see how long this all lasts. I think I'm going to go in with Bic pen today and put some live some figure drawing on the old YouTubes and do a little sketch. And I gotta pop this window out so that I can see the live chat, and then also see the sketching reference. Which is kind of difficult. Well, maybe not as difficult as I thought it might be. Alright, I think we might have it. Alrighty. So how's everybody doing this morning? Not that anybody's watching at the moment, but we'll see if anybody pops in. If not, cool. That's fine. Got my coffee. Oh. Hello, Helm. How you doing? Helm? I don't know how to pronounce that, but... Alright, let's see. Get these figure studies going. Alright, so starting off with some 1-minute poses. I always seem to draw the first one too slow, and then I realize how fast I need to draw. It's crazy how this... Oh, now there's like a plane going by, and how am I doing? I'm doing alright. I only got about 5 hours of sleep, which I just couldn't sleep anymore for whatever reason, but I'm just so used to that amount of time. Like, that's how much sleep I get a lot of times. I would have loved to have slept in, but I went to bed like kind of late, and once the sun's up and I wake up, I can't get back to sleep a lot of times, so it's frustrating. Hopefully I'll have enough energy for the day, but I'll be alright. And who knows, maybe I'll get a little nap in at some point. I don't really nap very much, but sometimes I like to try to take a little bit of a nap so that I have enough energy for whatever's going on in the night. I'm more of a morning person, though. Going too slow here for the 1-minute poses. Make sure I get that gesture in. Sometimes I forget to do a proper, like, gesture line to set it straight, but it's important to do the gesture first, in my opinion. There's kind of an order of how you draw anything, really. Not everybody would probably agree with that, but that's something I learned and it's helped me. So, gesture first, then you start building up the forms. And then finally, once all that's nice and in place, then you go into doing some detail work, if you like. Good morning, Mike. How you doing? Teresa, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. How are you guys doing today? Usually I do these kind of early and nobody's around. It's 10 a.m. here in New England. So it's not crazy early, but everybody else seems to be like in California or somewhere in between. So it's really early for them. My early is super early for them. Usually I'm up even earlier than this though, but I haven't been able to draw a full 1 minute figure yet. Guess that's what happens when you do live chat. Alright, let me get this gesture in. This is a little bit of a weird gesture. It'll switch over to like 2-minute sketches and I think 5 or 10-minute sketches in a bit here. And then I'll be able to, you know, pay more attention to the chat. Drawing really messy. But that's part of what this is all about. I feel like I've been learning a lot though, even with these quick, I mean, that's kind of the point of it. Is to, oh, we got a 2-minute pose now. Doing gesture 2, gotta fill these sketchbooks, I know, right? Pretty good, just drinking coffee, me too. Coffee, gotta get those coffees. Sometimes I've been cheating a little bit and I'll like pause it, you know, if I'm getting too distracted, which I probably should have done a little bit here, but oh well. And I think that some of these poses are really good and I want to like fully draw them, you know, at some point. So I'll be going back to all of these. And I think, you know, right now I'm doing the summer sketchbook thing, but I think that once this is done, I'm going right into a sketchbook I already started. That's, you know, only a few pages in, same size, 220 pages. But I'm going to spend a little more time. You know, I'm not going to try to fill it in a month. I like that idea. I like that it got me to draw a whole lot more than I ever generally do. But it hasn't given me, like, I don't have enough time to spend some good time on a page a lot of times. So, you know, that's important for learning as well. You know, if you're trying to learn, like, anatomy, you can't just, like, sit down and knock out a page in, like, 10 minutes or 5 minutes or a couple minutes. You know, sometimes you got to spend like an hour on a page, and you really learn a lot that way. Or whatever it is you're studying, you know. It's good to take time, and it's also good to do quick stuff, I think. That one I got the full figure, because it was 2 minutes, I guess. Also, I'm thinking for this figure drawing, like the quick gesture, like I might still do them, but I might have a different sketchbook, you know, probably like a newsprint sketchbook or something. 'Cause these are in no way, shape, or form like good art. I don't know. It just feels like sometimes I'm wasting paper, you know, like this is better paper than maybe I should use, you know, newsprint or something cheaper, you know, for these kind of drawings, and then use the better paper for, you know, just something a little more substantial than gesture drawings. I think I definitely got a good gesture here with this one. Today I'm doing non-nudes because I'm outside and the community here is, you know, there's always people driving around or walking around, and, you know, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes or make anybody uncomfortable. I think it's really important, like, when you are doing figure studies, like the quick ones, especially, it's good to get, like, there's certain things to get down that help, like the jaw line. It helps with the head position, and it helps with the gesture of where the head is going. I don't know, there's something about that that helps me get the gesture better. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way. I feel like I do different approaches at different times too. Like sometimes I'll draw it like I'm drawing the rib cage and stuff. Sometimes I won't draw like the rib cage. I'll just kind of draw the form, like, I don't know, the way I just, whatever net comes naturally, I guess. I probably should draw the rib cage and really focus on form a little bit more, getting that right. I don't know. I'm not really sure what I should do. I haven't taken a lot of time lately to look up like you know, figure study tutorials. I've been looking up a lot of different tutorials for just all kinds of different things for art, but for some reason, like actual like gesture figure study type stuff, I haven't. I don't know why, which doesn't make sense since that's what I've been doing a lot lately. Do 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 do. Let's see. I guess at the end of this whole summer sketch thing, I'll probably show the whole sketchbook. It's gonna be not that great because it's all these crazy gesture scribbles. But, you know, sometimes it's good to show people that anyways, because they see that, especially newer artists who, or I shouldn't say newer, but maybe ones that, you know, I don't know, just ones that need more help. It's good to be encouraged, you know, that your sketchbooks don't have to look amazing, and that the point of it is to learn, and it's better to get the mileage in a lot more than, you know, and just get a lot of bad sketches out, than to just kind of try to make every page pretty and take forever to fill a sketchbook and things like that. So in that way, I guess doing a video of the sketchbook will be okay, but I don't think, like, if I have other sketchbooks like this, I won't, you know, it's more just because it's an event, you know, so it's like show everybody that I did it or something, and also be encouraging to people like I said. Every once in a while, though, and like these, you know, gesture type things that I do, like they they take up about 4 or 5 pages generally. So I usually have like 3 pages I still have to do, to meet my daily quota or whatever. So then that's when I get to play around with stuff that I'm really excited about, and this is more like ends up being warm-ups and stuff like that. Alright, let's see. This is a cool gesture. Yesterday I was looking up tutorials on how to draw like trees and bushes and things like that. And it seems like super mundane, like, oh yeah, that's fun. But when I do other stuff in my sketchbook, like lately I've been, I want to be able to draw environments better and stuff, so I was doing a little bit of practicing on just stuff I saw, trees and stuff, and holy crap, like, trees are like any kind of tree or bush or whatever, it's no joke, like, the details, the leaves, like, I was like, I gotta figure out how other people do this because I can't sit here and draw every leaf. So I'm trying to figure out how people do it, and I did figure out, like, if you're drawing with pencil, there's, like, if you take almost like a more painting approach, and you just kind of indicate detail but don't, like, try to draw every leaf, that actually is, like, really helpful. But, I tend to, work on, like, in comics and stuff, so I'm inking, and I mean, you could do it in pencil, you could do it in any medium, but that's what I, more often than not use. Um, so I got to figure out how people draw trees when they're inking, where the lines have to be a little more definite. So there's that. Also, another big thing, and I don't know how well you can see what I'm drawing, but that I do when I do these gestures, sometimes I put the shoulder, and then I put the torso, or the hips, like the angle of those, and then I kind of will put the gesture line. Like, these are very important points, and then, like I said, the head helps indicate position as well for some reason to me. And then, put a little gesture line. That's kind of what I typically do. Also, sometimes planting the feet helps, where they're supposed to go first, which I don't do that as often as I probably should. But, feet, sometimes one's a little bit in back of the other, and if I'm not paying attention, I'll get that wrong. So, I don't know, it's just interesting, like, it's interesting how finding that through line really livens up, your drawing as well. Like, even if you're not, like, paying attention to it enough, as much as you should, it still seems to help. Like, it helps you to get that dynamic pose almost intuitively, which I think is interesting. There's a lot of just little things. I really like gesture drawing too, because like especially the quick ones here, because you just draw the human position, the human body so much, and it's like the human body is really tough to draw. So drawing it so much, you start to just realize where things go in proportion situations, and I need to do way better at proportion. And there's more other ways I need to kind of practice that'll help with that as well. So I don't know. It's but it's good to draw the human figure so much like this, because like just little things like where the calf muscles overlap in the leg and the arm muscles tend to overlap. You know, these things I won't have to think about it when I'm drawing stuff from imagination as much, because I've drawn it like 100 times, or hundreds of times I should say. So I don't know, little things like that end up translating eventually into your other work. Sometimes it seems like the progress with it is kind of slow, but you know, it does help even when you might think it's not helping. It's good to kind of evaluate though, like what the use is, why, you know, why am I doing this? Is this really helping? Because you don't want to spend like tons of time on something that's not even helping. And also you want to be encouraged to continue doing it. Because it's easy, you know, this isn't like, when I thought I want to be an artist, I didn't picture myself like doing these ugly scribbles in my sketchbook, you know. So you might just, you know, it's not what I want. It's not my necessarily thing I want to constantly be doing. Or it's not the end goal, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah. Sometimes I get too much time on some of these, and I didn't do the greatest underdrawing. And I'm like, I'm kind of done here, but you're still making me draw longer. Sometimes I'll fast forward the video. So this is a 5-minute pose. Probably should have drawn it in a different spot, like over here, but I'm trying to actually fill up the pages. You know, not every page is 100% filled, but no matter how much I do these gesture studies, I still forget to actually put the gesture in sometimes. It's crazy. Like, do the gesture first, then start doing the form. So, I don't know what it is, but I know a lot of other artists struggle with this too. Like, it's super easy to just start with detail. And that's the sign of somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, really. You know, starting with detail. And then your art ends up suffering for it, you know. So you gotta do the gesture, then you gotta work on form. Once you get those good, like that's where the fundamentals come in. Once you get those down, you know, even if your detail and rendering isn't so good, the fact that your fundamental forms are solid will make the drawing, you know, at least okay, you know. And yeah, it's so easy to still skip it though. So I guess that's probably one of the biggest things I have to really make sure, like be strict with myself about, to the point where it becomes, you know, I never do, you know, make that mistake, because it's become so much a habit that I don't even think, you know, I would never even think to go in with detail first. It's weird too though, because they don't really teach, I think in classes, I don't know, in art classes they teach to draw what you see. So some teachers will be like, you know, don't worry about form exactly, like not in the way that, you know, an illustrator would think about it, like screw form, you're supposed to be drawing what you see, you know, you're not drawing from imagination, you know. So it doesn't even matter if you even know anatomy or whatever necessarily, because if you're not drawing what you see, then you're doing it wrong anyways. I don't know, it's probably a little more refined than that, and they do focus on anatomy. I don't really know. I've never taken an anatomy class, and I've only taken some basic art classes. But I've heard that from other people too, that sometimes they'll kind of veer you away from things that, you know, maybe an art book would teach you about, like, you know, doing form and structure and figuring out the head structure and how that works and stuff like that. I guess there's just different approaches, but depending on what, you know, class you take, that's what structure they'll teach you. Alright, so that's as much as I'm going to do with that one, so I guess I'll fast forward to the next figure. Oh, I can't tell. Usually it shows like a little preview, like when you kind of hover over it. So this next one is a 10-minute pose. So I almost wonder if I should get a new page just for this, but I probably won't. Let's see, I haven't been numbering my pages. I have to do this so I know if I'm hitting my quota each day. It's weird. I hope that lawnmower isn't too annoying. It's kind of in the distance, a little bit far away, but it's close enough to where I can hear it pretty good. Alright, so this is a 10-minute one. I already lost like a good 30 seconds of it, but whatever. Alright, so I'm already doing form here, so that's not good. So let's get the gesture going. This is kind of a weird pose. Just like crouching. Sometimes it's really hard to find the gesture. If it's like limbs are going in all different directions and stuff like that. So you have to find what's the important lines of action, kind of break it down a little bit, I guess. I think that's a good one. Sometimes I forget to put the head in the right spot. That's why I like to place the head first, because sometimes it's crouched under the shoulders a little bit, and sometimes it stretches out from the shoulders. And getting that right helps a lot, in my opinion. This time it's stretching out. Also, where are the shoulders in proportion to the head? Like, yeah, to the head. In this one, there's a little bit of foreshortening. There's always parts where, you know, it's almost like foreshortened a little bit. So you gotta be careful you don't just like, you know, you take that into account and don't make the leg as long as, you know, you would think it would be, because it has to be shorter since it's coming more towards you. Do-do-do-do. This one's going back. And it's all about this one thing with the tree tutorial I was looking at yesterday. You know, drawing is all about figuring out how to create illusions basically, illusions, basically. You know, there is no 3D on a 2D, two-dimensional surface, but you're constantly trying to almost fool the viewer, you know, into seeing it in 3 dimensions. Hopefully that wasn't super loud, I don't know, but they just turned the lawnmower off for the moment. Oh, and it's back on, I think. I don't know. Doesn't sound as loud though. Also where the kind of chest area kind of goes into the shoulder is a good thing to look out for and try to get right. One thing I want to get better at is like if you ever watch Proko's videos on like anatomy and whatever, he teaches all kinds of different things. He talks about doing more confident lines, not sketchy lines like I'm doing here. So, you know, I want to get better at that, but I've been doing sketchy lines my whole life, so it's going to be a tough habit to break. And I knew that even from a young age that I shouldn't always do these sketchy lines, and sometimes I don't, but one thing to help learn that is to do these like things where you're like practicing how to like draw a straight line and stuff. And also just creating, you know, forms. Ellipses. So I got to do that more often. It's not, you know, again, it's not the most exciting thing, but it can help you with your control, help you with your confidence in the lines you make. And also, if you stop doing sketchy lines, that's a lot less lines you have to draw and a lot less time you have to spend on something, you know? So you become much more efficient. So it's something I definitely want to learn, because if I'm going to draw comics, it's good to find different ways to do it quicker. It takes a lot of time. If you're going to do animation, that applies even more. Because again, it takes a lot of time. How do you do like that? I'm not sure what you mean, Halem. Practice? If you're talking, oh, how do I probably draw like that? Yeah, I mean, it just, if you enjoy drawing and, you know, you just do it a lot. And trust me, I'm nowhere close to where I want to be. But, you know, I'm going to just keep doing it. One of the biggest things is to be willing to make a lot of bad drawings. If you're willing to just try, even though you're not good at it, eventually you'll get some skill. It's that fear that stops people, I think. Generally. Doo-doo-doo. This is a really messy one, but yeah, I'd like to spend some time doing some figure drawing, you know, like where I actually make it almost like a nice finished piece. Also, if I can get good at some of these figure studies, or whatever studies, you know, studies of trees, of nature, of whatever it is I'm learning, you know, if I can make like nice pieces, or just even sketches, like people sell those sometimes, like on eBay and stuff. They'll just buy like figure studies and they'll like frame them and put them on their wall, and so you know, it might be a good way to kind of help me in my career goals with art as well. Alright, looks like I have 2 minutes left, but that's all I'm going to do with this pose. Alright, that's it for that figure study session. I guess I can kind of show you what I did a little more closely. Let's see. Sorry that the cord's like in the way. It's not amazing, it's not beautiful. Here's some other ones I did yesterday. This was me doing it, trying it with a parallel pen, which I love the effect, but I just didn't have enough time to really do it that way. I would like to go ahead and make some really nice figure drawings with the parallel pen because I love the effect. More figure studies. I was drawing some, it's a little preview kind of stuff, but I was drawing some like space shuttles and stuff because I have an idea for an illustration. A lot of figure studies, and then once in a while I do like a piece like that. I did a video of that the other day. So, just trying to figure out hands here. I still need to do a lot of work on hands. But yeah, that's about it for that. So I don't know if you guys still want to hang out a little bit. I'm going to fill up some more pages, so. Let's see, what am I going to draw next? I still want to figure out how to do these like a rocket ship and stuff. Like, so maybe I should draw some more rockets, or try to kind of thumbnail out the idea I have for an illustration I want to do. It's going to be for a video on YouTube, so you'll kind of get a preview. Right now I'm just doing these like little line things since I have some unused space, that's a good place to kind of do these little control practice things with the lines, trying to draw straight lines. It's harder than you might think. Also the ellipses. I don't know that I'll ever be good at drawing these ellipses. Sometimes I get them good. It's like some days I'm better than others at all this stuff. It's weird. Guess it just has to do, that's a pretty good one. Guess it just has to do with like, maybe how much sleep you have, how much time you have, like if you feel pressure, if you feel relaxed. Actually doing a little better with the ellipses than I normally do. So that's good. Hey, what's up, James? You're sorry? What are you sorry about? I do see message retracted. I don't know what that means. But how you doing today, James? Just trying to make these last few sketch pages I did a little more filled up and also practice my control at the same time. Some people do these lines like really fast like that. I actually do, like, I know that's a good way to kind of do them well, but I actually like to go a little bit slower than that. I think they try to do it fast because it's hard to maintain control for it when you're going slower. But I feel like I can maintain it pretty good, better a little bit. If I go a little bit slower. Thanks, Halem. Also, another thing to kind of do is like draw shapes, like forms, and then like kind of do these like I don't know, contour. What are these lines? These like through lines to show the form. Apparently that's a good practice to do. I don't know if I'm doing that right. But even just circles or squares or really any shape. I feel like I need to like watch a tutorial though, because I think there's more, like a better way to do it where you're actually learning something a little bit more. I imagine these ones with the drawing straight lines and things like that are probably good. Like, it's probably good to do a bunch of these warm-ups before you go and ink something, because that's when you really need that control. But you should probably do it a little bit every day anyways to build up that control. Doing alright today, even though I'm like a little bit tired. I try too hard on my sketches, I take too long and it affects the gesture. I'm doing alright, man. Yeah, that's why I like this challenge of filling up a sketchbook in a month. Because my goal isn't to make, it ends up not being, because I get stuck too in that, but it ends up not being, draw a cool picture. That's not the goal. The goal is to literally fill up as many pages as possible. So it kind of knocks you out of that kind of paralysis. It's not, I don't want to fill up 220 pages every month, because I find that I do need to take some time as well on some things. So, again, earlier I was talking about it. Once this sketchbook is done, I'm going to go right into another sketchbook, and I want to fill it, in a relatively short amount of time, but not in a month. I should probably give myself some kind of restriction though, so I don't, like you said, get too precious. But I don't want to fill it in a month because it's the same amount of pages, and I want to spend some more time on some pages. So maybe in that case I should make like a page count a day or something, or I do my figure studies like I've been doing them with the, 1 minute type situations at first, and it fills up like a good 5 pages, but then, I don't have to hit, 3 more pages to get my quota for the day. I can just do one, or I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to kind of trick yourself. You want me to draw anime? That's not exactly the style I draw in, although sometimes I do try that style. I'm not opposed to it. I like different anime styles. I don't tend to like some of the typical anime styles. I like stuff that kind of goes a little bit of an unconventional approach. But it's possible that I could practice that. But I don't know if that's what I want to do today. I appreciate the suggestion, though. Good point. I've been unofficially doing the challenge to try to loosen up my sketches. It seems to be working if I can keep it up. Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, I've definitely done that with different challenges too. Actually, is um, you know, kind of participate, but not really like, be strict about it or whatever. I've done that plenty of times with different challenges, and then there's times where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do it this time. I'm gonna 100%. So, you know, I guess it just really depends on your goals at the moment and what you're working on and stuff like that. For me, this came at a perfect time. I had been not I hadn't been drawing very much for a while, so I just needed to break that habit and get back, into putting some mileage down on sketchbooks. So this challenge came at a good time. So it was more about quantity than quality, and now I'm back in the habit of drawing, and hopefully that'll stick. I have projects I have to work on, but I think I'm going to do some thumbnails for this illustration I want to do. Basically, it's going to be somewhat of a self-portrait, which I do sometimes. I mean, it's like a typical thing artists do. But this one has like a story, and like it's something I want to talk about. So, you know, I'm doing, it's less of a self-portrait. It's more of like a cartoon version of me. And there's kind of some meaning behind it. It's basically where I'm going to talk about my upcoming goals and stuff like that. And I wanted to kind of illustrate it. So there's a couple different approaches that I could do too, like I could just do like a single illustration and kind of take video of that, or I could do like, kind of like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen videos that Kesh does. This guy Kesh, he's done some video editing and stuff for Jake Parker, because he's going to school for like that stuff. but he's also, you know, an artist, and that's what he makes kind of his living on. And he kind of tells stories with these like paper puppets, and a lot of people do kind of that kind of thing. Even if it's not paper puppets, it might just be like digital drawings or whatever, and they just do like these really crude animations. Sorry, I gotta go. Unexpected guest. Cool, man. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. So, you know, sometimes people do that, you know, to kind of they'll almost animate, but it'll be like really limited animation, to kind of illustrate what they're talking about. Some people like tell stories that way, and it's cool. I like that. It's not necessarily what I want every video to be like, but I want to dabble in it, you know, a little bit as well. So, actually, I may be doing a collaboration with Kesh. We'll see. I hope so. We talked about it, and he was cool with it. So we'll see how that works out. One thing is, how do I want to make my hair? Because right now, I'm somewhat bald. But usually, I have some hair going on. So I should probably make it look like I typically look. And who knows, maybe it just won't be that big of a likeness. Do 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 do. Really excited for the plans I have coming up, and just the direction I'm moving towards, with my art, and I can't wait to share it with everybody. I'm not going to share it right now because, you know, that's something I want to save for that video, but yeah. It's kind of weird though, because I don't have a really good position to be able to work towards those goals, you know, like in a lot of ways, but I can do some of the groundwork until I'm in a better position at least. Yeah, Halem, I'm not really sure what you're showing with all those emoticons and stuff like that, so, you know, sorry if I'm kind of not responding, but I'm not quite sure, you know, what all that stuff is. Thank you, I guess, for the emoticon stuff. Do 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 do. Thumbnailing is super important, and people enjoy it too because it's part of like storytelling, and I have not gotten to a point where I like thumbnailing yet. I kind of hate it. And sometimes I just skip it. A lot of times I skip it, but it is helpful. It is something you should do as an artist, especially when you're trying to illustrate something. So I'm trying to force myself to do it more. But yeah, I kind of hate doing it. I've seen it help before, but It's not my favorite. So I think I'm gonna end this because what I'm drawing right now is in like this red pencil. You can't really see it, and yeah, I've gone long enough. I don't want to kind of make this huge video, and I'm not talking about anything crazy specific or whatever. So, anyways, I do appreciate you guys all hanging out with me and chatting with me a little bit and talking about figure studies and all that fun stuff. And sketching, filling up sketchbooks. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you on the next video. Peace out.